Blog Talk Radio.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Sunny D. Welcome to tonight's show. Guys, you want to say hi?
What's going on, good people? You already know who it is. It's your boy Clint.
What up, though, folks? This is Willie Styles. Thanks for joining.
Yes, thanks for joining, guys. Today is June 15th, 2017. We got a great topic for you guys tonight. If you are listening right now, you are on blogtalkradio.com/GFT radio show. If you want to call in, phone lines open up at 10:15. Phone number is 657-383-1155. If you are too shy to talk and you want to hit us up on Twitter, add us at GFT_radio using the hashtag GFT radio. So we're going to kick this show off. How was you guys' week?
First one?
Man, my week has been busy. I mean, like between work being crazy, it's summertime, or not summertime, getting to be summertime, so everybody's in a scramble to get everything done. So it's been, one request after one request after one demand. Then at home, I got my son is fifth grade, so he had fifth grade graduation. Congratulations to him and his class. My daughter concerts and shit to sing in, so it's just been, just running back and forth with the kids, running back and forth with the job. It's been crazy. So, but I'm blessed, so I'm having a great week.
Okay.
That's what's up. Congrats to your graduating. That's what it is. I think you posted pictures on Instagram.
I did. I saw them. I think I saw them on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yep.
I ain't do much this week.
Yeah, that's my little man.
That's what's up. I ain't do much this week personally. I was out of commission, so I worked out Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday came, man, and my back was on fire. You feel me? My lower back was just I couldn't move. So all I've been doing is really just trying to rest up. I've been trying to keep. I was telling Sonny before the show. I've been trying to keep doing little stuff, like a little bit of movement, exercise to keep it loose a little bit, so it just really won't stiffen up on me. But I can't really do too much. Mainly just stretching exercises and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got to be careful with that. You don't want to hurt yourself.
I felt like an 80-year-old man. I tried to wake up Monday morning, man. It was crazy. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. I don't even know what I really did to mess it up, because I was fine. You know what I mean? I was fine like Sunday. Towards the night it started to stiff up on me, but once Monday hit, it was a crap. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I think you posted something that I was like, wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I was dead serious too. I was like, man, somebody bring me a masseuse.
Yeah, that ain't no problem. Ain't no joke.
Yeah, my friend actually, she is, a licensed masseur, but she's gonna come look me out. But she ended up hurting herself.
Oh shit!
She hurt her elbow, so she's been out of commission for a couple of days. So I'm like, man, I've been stuck.
Oh wow, yeah.
What you been up to?
Me, y'all know Sunday was my sister's baby shower.
Yeah.
That was we had fun. We surprised her. It was an eventful event. We had some mishaps, but for the most part, everybody had fun. Things got done, so that was cool. But the rest of the week, I really didn't do too much besides work. I've been chilling. The only thing that happened to me was my daughter with today. She got asked out on her first date ever. I don't know how I feel about it. The little boy, I know him. She knows him. I know his mom. They went to daycare together. They did it all except for junior high. And I'm like, I feel old because, my daughter's about to go on, like, a little date. And it's not like really a date. They go into, like, the Boys and Girls Club. They had a dance, and they're going to, like, either meet up or, get in the same car and go. And I'm just like, yeah, about that. So I'm at that phase. So it's a new door for me. It's a new door for her. But she has been, surprisingly, I was surprised at her because she asked me back in middle school, when could she date? And I told her when. And, we had to have an open line of communication. And then she told me, Mom, this boy, so-and-so likes me. And I said, do you like him? And she got all like, what? And then she was smiling and blushing. I'm like, yeah, okay. So we're going to be doing that. So, they've been texting each other so far, nothing crazy. His mom is a put-together person, so I'm pretty sure she's on him like I'm on her. So I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about it yet. I told her that she can go as long as his mom is on board, which I'm pretty sure if he asked her, his mom was already on board, but just so for my peace of mind, I would like to know. So,
I can get that.
Yeah, I tell you that.
Yeah,
grown up, so you gotta.
Yeah. Shoot, I'm dreading those days. Even though I had little sisters, and all that, you feel me? It's still a little different.
Yeah.
It's a daughter. Oh man, I'm dreading that.
Yeah, I knew it was going to come eventually, but I just thought I had one more year. I was like, yeah, I don't have to do this. And
wait, you thought you had one more year? Is your daughter like already 14?
Shut up, Billy. Shut up.
Man, my daughter's 12 and I'm already looking. I'm already grimming dudes like, hey, back up. Shoot,
No,
I don't play that.
My baby doesn't look her age. She looks older, but
exactly, yeah. So
I'm like,
you gotta really be on the look.
I gotta be on it. Like, listen, don't let them tell you. Like, I already told you. I said he don't know what love is, so he don't love you. Like, I kind of joke with her, but like we had a conversation that we supposed to have, and like I said, we talked about it on past shows when you got to have those conversations, especially now that they're dating is up there in the air. So I just always told her, I said I don't want to be like how my mom was. My mom was real unrealistic with her dating. My mom had 4 girls, and she said we couldn't date till we were grown, which didn't make sense to me. And I always feel like I don't want you to bring some random boy to my house. Talk about some you go on the prom with him. I never met him because you're not going to go with him. So the plus side is I do know this little boy. I've known him since he was a toddler, and I know his mom, and we have an open line of communication. We are Facebook friends too, and I know her. Like, she came to events that I had. I went to events she had. So it's not like I don't know who's raising this boy. So that is a plus side. It's not some little knucklehead, that I might have to slap up with.
Yeah, that always helps. I mean that happened to me with my daughters. My oldest daughter, her son's father is like a family friend from like a long time ago. Always knew him. Knew how he was, that kind of thing. So it was a little easier to deal with. Same thing with my second oldest daughter. Her most recent or her last boyfriend was the same way. I had known him for years, way before they started dating, when they were just friends and that kind of thing. So it definitely made it a little easier, less stressful thinking about it. You know what I mean? And it made it a little easier to accept. When they're younger, you definitely want to be on the lookout for how they're reacting to being in relationships and trying to be in relationships, because especially when it's like middle school, beginning of high school, because those are the most influential ones and the most detrimental ones, because it can kind of shape that your daughter's kind of like her self-image and her mindset about herself. Because one, it's at a time when people are the most vicious in middle school and the beginning of the high school, is that they kind of have the most influence. The kids around school have the most influence. So if a boy is kind of giving her thoughts and influence, that could be a problem, that kind of thing. So you kind of have to be cautious of that. Be in her ear too, like, hey, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're this, you're that, you got a lot going for you. Don't be so worried about what boys are doing, what their the mindset is. I mean, there's only so much you're gonna listen to anyway, but it's better to do that than not to do that. And then, have your daughter come back, 5-6 years later, like they got low self-esteem because some boy told them they was ugly when they was in middle school, or some boy talked about, some body feature of theirs, that kind of thing. So, I mean, if nothing else, find out what your daughter doesn't like about herself and try to hype that up as much as you can, try to reduce that as much as you can in her mind, because those are the things that somebody mentioned to her. More than likely, 99% of the time, it's something that somebody at school talked about, like, oh, you got a big butt, or oh, you got a whatever, and it's going to be something that she's going to immediately identify as something that she doesn't like about herself, because somebody else put that and planted that seed. So you got to be able to, squash that and be able to build her up, as much as possible. I mean, it's a learning experience, believe me, especially when you only have one or two. I'm on number 4, so I've seen a lot. But,
and it's funny because
I'm still learning to this day.
And it's funny because when she went to her ball, she has like a severe case of eczema, and like some of her skin is lighter than the other, and she felt comfortable. I was surprised, and I'm like, she surprised me because she had a hard time dealing with eczema, growing up with kids being harsh. Oh, what's wrong with your skin? Blah, 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 blah. She went to the military ball. She didn't ask for it. Usually she would ask like a shawl or something, and she was fine. She was like, I said, you want a shawl? She was like, no. And I said, we would tell her, like, I told her, I said, you're beautiful. No matter what nobody say to you, you're beautiful, and don't ever feel ashamed. And I was like, when she was trying to dress, she was feeling self-conscious because, she went with another friend that was way, like, skinnier than her. My daughter's thick. So you got this thin little girl going with her shopping, and she can fit into whatever dress you want. My daughter has to go, find a good size that fits her perfectly. So it was like that issue, and I was just telling her, like, you look beautiful. You just have to find something that fits you. And I won't let you buy anything unless you feel beautiful in it. You can't. I'm not going to get you something just because, it's your size. I want you to feel confident in what you're about to put on, and you got to walk out there like, look at me, I'm pretty too, because I wanted her to be confident, because we had that issue from when she was young, and I told her, like, I don't want you to feel any type of way, whether your hair is straight, weave, or you wear your own hair. And even now she's comfortable wearing her own hair out when she's in between styles, and she knows how to style her hair. So we've been building on that for quite a while, and I'm just glad to see what type of teenager or young lady she's turned into, because, she is like, I am who I am, and that's just, and I'm okay with that. So.
Right. And that's good. That means that you've planted a seed, or somebody in her that's influenced her well has planted a seed that's made her feel confident in that, and that's great. I mean, some girls you won't need to tell that. I mean, my oldest daughter was like that. She, no matter what, I mean, she was already pretty. She was already, she had a lot going for her. But still, no matter what, she was confident. She had like the ultimate confidence, and almost a diva attitude where she just knew she was the jump. But it was more just she didn't feel it was because of the way she looked. She just felt that she was just that person. You know what I mean? Which I thought I always admired about her, was that she didn't feel like she had to rely on her looks. She felt like she could she felt like she was the funniest person in the room. She felt like she was the smartest person in the room, and she wasn't smart. But you know what I mean? But it was just like that was her thing, that she felt like she that she had all these other attributes going for her. And that she could stand on a pedestal above everybody because of that, because she was just everything. So and that's definitely what you want. I mean, you're not going to get that every time, of course. I mean, I got that once out of 4. The rest of them had to kind of build. Well, my third daughter's kind of like that too, a little bit, but she's every last one of them had to hey, this is good, feel this way about yourself. That kind of thing. So, everybody's different.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, I'm glad she is where she is now. I'm glad we're communicating, especially about that. I'm surprised she was open up to tell me that, and then share with me, hey, we've been talking about it, so that's good. Most kids don't like to talk to their parents, so I'm glad that she felt like, even though I was joking with her about, don't come back pregnant, blah blah blah. I said, don't leave the boys till they love you, because they don't know what love is. They're too young,
That's my main thing, though. What you just said, I want my daughter to be able to come talk to me. I want her to feel like she can't talk to me.
Yeah.
You feel me? So when that situation arrives, I want her to be able to come talk to me confidently about it. You feel me? Like that, I'm ready to date this, that, and the third, and then we can have that discussion. You feel me?
Yeah.
Right. And then, like y'all said, you feel me? If she her first date, or when she first started dating, is somebody that I'm familiar with, that'll help it make it easier too.
Yeah, and that's what I found. Like, cause I thought the first person she was dating,
make it easier for me to find them. make it
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, like easy for the comment too. Yeah. But too with that. Well, yeah, exactly. And two about that is knowing who their friends are, being involved in school, being involved in their activities, knowing who they're hanging around. I mean, like right now, I roll up to the school. I pay attention. I'm looking at who she looking at, who looking at her. I got a couple of spies in the class. You know what I'm saying? You do what you got to do to make sure that you're kind of on top of things. But yeah, that's definitely important.
I was about to make a whole bunch of jokes about the daughters dating and all that stuff. But honestly,
you know what's funny too? Because we watch Bad Boys.
Yeah, that's what I was about
too.
to say.
And I looked at her, and she's like, "Mom, you gonna be like that?" I said, "I'm not gonna be like that. I'm just gonna let him know, like, don't do nothing crazy because I know where you live at, and I'll beat you up. I don't care who your mom is."
Yeah. And I also feel as though it applies to boys as well.
Yeah.
Something like that with all my younger brothers are in high school. You feel me? And you could ask them to a man. To a young man, I tell them, like, listen, man, don't worry about these young girls right now.
Yeah.
You feel me? I know in your mind, your hormones running crazy. You feel me? But it's like you really got to focus on yourself right now.
Exactly.
This is when you build your foundation and set your goals for your future right now. You got nothing but space and time and opportunity in front of you.
Yeah, it's a lot of fast little road out here too. So.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's true. Exactly.
You gotta tell them, like, listen, get away from them. She's a thought. Leave her alone. Like, listen. Like, I'm being realistic.
I'm gonna refrain from calling them thoughts, but I do let my son know. Like, look, you gotta be diligent about who you're dealing with, and my thing is, I kind of teach from experience. So I'm always like, look, look out for this, look out for that. Don't fall for this trap. Don't fall for this. That's the thing. There's a lot of things people will say to you and do to make you think that you're so special because they just want something out of you, or they want they just want your time or whatever, and next thing you know, you ain't getting your responsibility taken care of. So
yeah. Just gotta make sure that the kids are on point and they know what they can get into and what they don't need to be into. So
right.
Gotta educate them and talk. So communication is key. We had this conversation back when we talked about the sex talk with our kids. So this is just now we got to put it into production because you should have been talking about it before, but now especially when they're at this age and they start dating, you really need to be having conversations. So
yeah, definitely
something you got to do. But we're going to jump right into tonight's topic. Clint, I want you to kind of explain how we got this topic.
Well, actually, I like the intro. That was a great bridge.
Yeah.
To this topic, because it's basically talking about kids, raising kids. I have a friend. She's a real proud daddy's girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, a daddy spoiler. So, which in a way, I don't see nothing wrong with it. I think a father should spoil spoil his daughter. But it's a way to do it, and there's lessons to be taught in it. Mm-hmm. And with her, I feel like it set a bar for, well, not even a bar, it set unrealistic expectations for me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then, it's also to the point to where if that person is in a bind, sometimes he won't even look to his mate first to go to the father. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that can cause issues within a relationship, especially when two people are supposed to come together as one. You know what I mean? So, and it's also on the flip side. I thought about it of boys, mama boys. You know what I mean? Like, that's the same thing. When they have an issue, they run to their mama, or they always go back to their mom for, not just reassurance, but a fail-safe, so to speak. You know what I mean? Yeah. And does that, I feel as though that hinders the child. Now, my question really is, Is it the parents' fault for raising a child that way and not explaining to them, like you can spoil your child, but not also let them know that at some point they got to fend for themselves. You know what I mean? Or, you know what I mean, instead of handicapping, because basically that's what you're doing. You're handicapping them in a way that they know they can always, you know, have you as a fail-safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even within relationships, though, as far as relationships go. So if you're having a problem in a relationship, you always, you know, you don't know how to really handle it as an adult. You know what I mean? And that comes from probably growing up in a single-parent home, or just not seeing a healthy relationship in a two-parent home as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because my friend grew up in a two-parent home, but she still was treated a certain way above everybody else. You know what I mean? So that I feel like she has a unrealistic expectation of men. You know what I mean? So
right.
How do y'all feel about that?
Well, you want to go first?
So yeah. So I definitely agree that there's methods and ways to which we can teach our children lessons while we do, you know, the things for them that maybe we, you know, didn't have done for us, or that we feel that, you know, because we live at a certain tax bracket or a certain social status that we can do for them, so that they, you know, they can be happy, or that they can, you know, have the finer things or the better things that they get. So, which, you know, like you were saying, Clint, in terms of with females, you know, I think fathers, when they're doing that, there's two things to me. You know, as a father, I look at it two ways. One, I want my daughter to see that a man should be, you know, caring, loving, giving, and or not just giving, but you know what I mean, you know, generous in a way, and be open minded with her in terms of being able to do things for her and do things with her, and have her, you know, feel like she can trust, you know, him. But I also think that a father needs to teach his daughter how to spot the difference between somebody who's just trying to buy your affection versus somebody who actually, you know, cares about you. You know what I mean? So you have to figure out the fine line there, and that you're going to, you know, how you're going to teach them that, how you're going to teach your daughter that, how you're going to keep her kind of street smart, you know, and not be gullible to just every guy that says that you're pretty. You know, make sure she knows that she's pretty. She doesn't need another man on the street to tell her that she's pretty in order to feel good about herself. She needs to already know that. You know, she doesn't need a guy giving her gifts in order for her to think that, you know, she has to do something for the gift. That, you know, she can get gifts because the guy just genuinely likes her and wants her to be happy, and you know, giving the gift out of appreciation, not out of sorry, I'm drawing a blank on the word I'm looking for, but you know, like she has to owe him something afterwards, you know, that kind of thing. You know, there's that. But then, like you said, you know, he also can't be the safety net. You know, when she goes to school and, you know, college or whatever, and, oh, my cell phone bill needs to be paid, oh, daddy got it. Oh, my car note needs to be paid, oh, daddy got it. Oh, blah, blah, blah needs to be taken care of, oh, daddy got it. You know, because if, like you said, if she gets in a relationship and her boyfriend or husband, you know, especially if it's a husband, if he, you know, maybe can't pay the cell phone bill on time, oh, well, my daddy will take care of it. You know, it's a slight to her mate, you know, for one, that, you know, she feels like she can just go and get it from somebody else, you know, but then also to be able to do that most of the time. Oh, I won't say most of the time, but, you know, the examples I've seen out there, you know, usually they're doing it on the backside, like, you know, oh, I'll just get it taken care of, and I won't tell them or whatever, that kind of thing. And it's like it creates a breakdown then at that point in that relationship, you know, because then at some point she's going to feel like she can't rely on her mate. even though she hasn't even tried to, you know what I mean? She'll be like, oh, well, I had to go to my daddy for blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, you didn't. If we'd have just talked about it, maybe we could have made some adjustments in what we were doing, or maybe we could have, adjusted our budget or whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot. Or in the case where, and this is the worst kind, is when, it's like, oh, I want this new purse. And it's like, okay, well, I got to take care of the car note this month. And it's like, he might be trying to save up on the side, to get the purse in a couple of months, or the next season. And, but, oh, no, she go run out and have daddy buy her the purse, So it becomes, again, an issue of, she feels like she has to go outside of that relationship and just get it done that way. It's one thing when you're doing it because you got the money yourself to do it, but when you're using daddy as the safety net or even mama who has the safety net, it becomes a problem in that relationship because you're not working together at that point. You're bringing these outsiders into your relationship and creating a little bit of chaos there. So I definitely agree that it's that can be a problem.
Yeah, because you're not allowing, either the female is not allowing the man to be a man in a relationship, or the guy is not letting the woman be the woman in a relationship, like as far as, certain little things. Like when you watch Things Like a Man, when you saw the boy, one guy was a mama's boy, he was just letting his mom do a lot of stuff for him. And then you as a female, you take on that role as a girlfriend and, help out, wash your clothes, maintain the house. And then you get your mom doing it. It's like, what? Then at that point, you got people that feel in a relationship with somebody that they feel useless because they can't really do anything because they never go to them. Or like what Willie said, you got where if the girl is dating a guy, but she uses her dad doing something, she never asked him to do nothing, but then she thinks that she can't ask him because she been asking her dad, and you're not allowing him to be a man and take that step and do what allow him to be a man in a relationship and do what he's supposed to do.
Right.
It becomes that, and then you, like you said, you get to the point where people are enabling people, and that's one thing. Like, even as a single parent with my daughter, I teach her how to do things on her own because I want her to be self-sufficient. I want her to know that she can have help, but at the same time, if you don't have help, you're not going to be, I can't do it because nobody can help me. You're going to be able to do it by yourself, but if you get help, you know that if worse comes to worse, and you have to do it yourself, you can do it. And I think that works for boys, too. Like with my son, I'm going to show him how to do things, like how to cook meals, how to wash his clothes. So if he doesn't have a girlfriend when you're on your own, I don't want you bringing me your crap and asking me to cook your meals. You need to know how to do it yourself. Or, so your dad will teach you how to do stuff and stuff like that. So you have to enable your kids to be self-sufficient. They can't always depend on you because then you got them always asking for you for something, and you can't live your life if you're always taking care of your kid after they're grown. Like, you have to let them learn to grow up.
Definitely.
And then,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, as far as, with relationships, because we started off the show talking about your daughter going on a date.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is, that ties into perfectly what we're talking about, because we're talking about involvement. So now, when does the involvement in the dating process with your child stop? Being involved in their relationships.
Well, I don't, and then you got that too, because then you got the mama's boys who always have their mom opinion on everything. They can't do anything unless I got to talk to my mom about it. Like, you're grown, or you have to make your own decisions. Like, I'll talk, and she asks me for my advice, I'll give it to her. But at the end of the day, her decisions should depict her actions. Whatever I say, she should take it into consideration, but not like, you kind of have to be cautious of what you talk to your kids about, especially when it comes to dating and they're that age. You can't tell your kids that you could not like so-and-so, but if you tell them, like, girls are rebellious, and boys are too. You tell them you don't like so-and-so, they're going to keep dating so-and-so just because you don't like them. You have to be cautious, you have to be conscious, and you have to pay attention to what's going on. And you have to kind of, like especially with dating when they're teenagers, you have to kind of make them feel comfortable enough to talk to you and be around you with this person so you can see how this person is. If you push them away and you push that person away that they're showing interest in, you run the risk of pushing your child away and then being outcasted and not knowing what's going on in the relationship. What if they're having problems? What if he's abusing her or the guy is getting abused by the girl? You won't know because you already put yourself in that relationship so much that now they don't want to talk to you. So you have to be conscious, alert, and pay attention and be open. Even if you don't want to be, you have to, even if you don't like that person, you have to allow that person to be in your area without feeling some type of way or them some type of way, because then it's going to be like, oh, your mom don't like me. I don't want to be at your house. So now you can't really monitor what's going on because they're not there.
Right.
So you have to be conscious, and like I'm like this. I think back to like the Maury shows, when you get to people that's on there for paternity and stuff like that, and the mom saying that ain't his baby, and like and mostly with the boys, the mom's going like off, and it's like at the end of the day, you have to look at it like this. I never want to be one of them moms. You know, they say mama's boys and moms like their love for their son is like a different bond, like how dads are with their girls. But I don't want to be one of the moms that I'm so much involved in my son's business that I'm on Maury talking about that ain't his baby. Like, if you slept with her, it's a possibility that that's your baby, and you have to figure out whether or not that's your baby before. I'm not going to say nothing about that's not my grandchild, that's not X, Y, Z, or she this, that, and the third. You, as a person who chose to sleep with her, are protected, or whatever the case may be. And either way, a kid can be a product of this, so you have to kind of be out of it, but be in it to a point where you're concerned and you want to know, because that might be something so I don't want to be that much involved that I'm in there acting a damn fool and I'm not being a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm being overprotective and this is a grown adult, or, you have to watch that, and then that's how you worry about when you all involved and the boys sneaking off and they're knocking somebody up and getting pregnant, and all of a sudden you like 30-something and you're a grandma. I don't have time for that. I'm too young to be a grandma. So I don't want to push her, I don't want to push her that way or be all involved in their lives to where they can't live it and they're out of my house doing X, Y, Z, and I don't know. And all of a sudden now it's a baby involved. You have to be cautious of a lot of stuff you do, because your behavior can affect your child's behavior in their relationship, and it could be a positive thing or it could be a negative thing.
True.
From personal experience, I'm going to speak from my personal experience. It was kind of weird, because at first my mom, until I was like 13, like my mom was real overprotective.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like if a girl would call the house and she pick up, she was that, listen, don't call my house no more. You feel me? Like, no, don't call my house no more. Click. Come to me. Don't have no girls calling this house at all. You feel me? My dad, he was more so, now I mean, like, man, you got a girlfriend yet? Now, he was always.
He make sure he was right.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was my dad. You feel me? Like, I mean, you got the Peter wheel wet. Yeah, I mean, he was always like that.
Yeah. He was like, make it up. Yeah.
But then it switched. Like, it literally switched. It's like once I got to about 14, once I got to high school, my mom was like totally hands off. Like she really, like all the way to this day, like she really don't, like to get involved in anything. Even if I come to her for advice, she hit me with, you're going to do what you want to do anyway, so what's the point of you even coming to me for advice? This, that, and the third. Like it totally just, that switch just went off. And on the flip side, as I got older, my dad, before he passed, he got more like, don't mess with this type female, don't, like who she hang with. He got more involved.
He's thinking from experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
exactly. Don't fall for the okie doke.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly how I was. You feel me?
For me, the reason I did that, I kind of did the same thing. I mean, I wasn't like the type that was like, oh, what you doing out there, blah blah blah. When they were younger, I didn't do all that. But when they got older, when my boys got older, I definitely was talking to them a little bit more, because I knew that they were going to be out there, right? When they hit 15, 16, I think I was exactly, and I felt like I needed to be ahead of that, right? I wanted them to be responsible in dating. I wanted them to be responsible in relationships that they're going to get into, and I wanted them to also be conscious of, like I said, what was out there. And like I said, from speaking from experience, speaking from things I've seen, between myself and my friends, being able to tell them, look out for this, look out for that. This is situations you're going to run into. Telling them the funny stories, the crazy stories, the missions, and all that kind of stuff. Not super duper details, but you know what I mean, enough to get them an idea, like, this is what you could fall into, and being able to kind of guide them that way. When they're 17, 18 years old, you want to be ahead of that versus when, they get older, 19, 20, and they're not going to be listening anyway. They're just going to be out there. So, you want to already have them in their head and make sure that they going in the right direction. So.
Yeah, that's a definite. And I never, as long as I've been watching the Maury shows, I just don't understand. Like, I get so upset with the mom because they be on there like, my son ain't sleep with you. And I be wanting to scream to TV, like, was you in the bed with them? Like, and then they come out, you are the father. They're like, oh, my God, I'm going to take care of my grandbaby. It's like, mind your business. Like, I don't ever, you don't ever see any dads up there acting up, but then, you don't ever see them dads acting up before. It's always the mom, and I get it, but it's just crazy. And, I always say to myself, I don't want to be, I'm already protective of my daughter, and I know with my son I'm going to be even more protective because that's my boy. Same way you should be the same for both, but, the bond and thing. I don't want to be so involved in his life that I make him like a mama's boy, that he can't function on his own, that he, I don't want him to ever be, I know he loves me, I know all that stuff. I know he's attached to me, but I don't want him to be one of those mama's boys that can't function and just like, oh, here, mama's boy, you can't date him, or like an undateable person, and, I want him to,
What about making it to where, to like the real topic is expectations.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? Now, say we as parents, like what he said, we want to set an example for our daughters.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? As good men, love and care of how a man should respect a woman, all that stuff. But what if we do it to a point to where we make them feel entitled, or my thing is, I don't want to set an expectation too high for. I want her to set that.
Yeah.
I don't feel
right.
You know what I mean? I don't feel like that's my relationship with my daughter is my relationship with my daughter.
Uh-huh.
So I don't want her to compare.
She's going to base it off of. But that's the thing. Like even my little sister, her dad was in her life, and her dad spoiled her. Her expectation of men is to treat her how her dad did, and that's what's going to happen if you're. And it's not like it's something that you really can't really control. You don't want her. If you were a man and you show her love, you did what you're supposed to do as a man, even as her father, she's going to want somebody that's similar to you the same way a son will want somebody like his mom. He wouldn't want some old random chick, like not that he want to date his mom, but he wants to find somebody that's similar, has a similar positive attributes that his mom has. So he's gonna look for somebody that's similar in certain aspects of how he think a woman should be because he saw it from his mom, the same way a daughter would with his dad. Because if your dad is taking care of you like a man's supposed to take care of you, like he makes sure that you taken care of, he tell you he loves you all the time, he tell you you're beautiful. You don't want the person that you're dating to tell you, hey, you're beautiful, just for no reason, not because it's the holidays, just that woke up this morning, hey, baby, you're beautiful, I love you. That's what she saw her dad do. And not only did she see her dad do it, like if you and her mom were together, or like it's the same parent household. If you see that if you went to the household with your mom and dad there, and your dad is always telling your mom she loves her and showing affection, the man you're going to date, you want something like that. I don't think that's something that you can do.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's my thing. Is I think that's where you have these lines, right? These lines and these barriers, right? So you want to be able to say, I'm going to do X, Y, Z for my daughter because I want her to be able to come to me and get what she needs or what she wants sometimes, and I want her to be happy. That's great. I can do that. But when it comes to my thing is when it comes to the fail safe or the safety net, you gotta cut that off at a certain point.
Yeah.
So like for me, my daughter, she's the type where my youngest daughter, she's the type where, she came in, she probably has, she's probably come out at probably the wrong time for herself because she's the type of kid that she wants everything. You know what I'm saying? She wants everything. She wants to give, she wants to get, whatever she wants when she wants it. You know what I'm saying? So I've had to pretty much cut her off. Like, look, no, when you need something, I'm gonna get you what you need. But when you want something, you gotta earn it. I mean, you really gotta earn it. And So sometimes she don't understand that. Sometimes she does, But it's because I've learned that over time, with my other daughters. But the biggest thing for me is that, I tell her, hey, when you have a chore that you have to do or activities you got to take care of or homework or that kind of thing, you got to do it. You know what I'm saying? For her right now, that's her job. My middle daughter, she's got a job. She goes to work, she comes home, she goes to the mall, that kind of stuff. Then all of a sudden she's like, oh, I got to go to school. Can I get $5? No, you can't get $5 from me. You should have took that $20 you spent on mall food or that $50 you spent on some new gym shoes and go get you some gas money so you can make it to class. So you can't rely on me to be the safety net for you. Now you got to do an extra chore around here, or now you got to do X, Y, Z so you can make your money, so you can have gas money to go to class. So that's the thing. You got to be able to, like you said, Clint, you got to be able to set those expectations. They can't feel like they can just rely on you to do everything, and be able to just say whatever relationship I'm in, forget that relationship. But that was my thing, is that, some people will get to the point, too, where they'll hinder their own relationships because they'll feel like, well, I don't need to be in this relationship because, I can just, go back home to my parents and, forget this, being in this thing, one little argument and I'm about to go home and be with mommy, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
And that, ends up being detrimental to their relationship. Folks out there, if y'all want to call in and comment too, please do. We're at 657-383-1155. Phone lines are open.
Yes. Definitely call in. It's a great conversation, I'll tell you that much.
And one thing I was thinking of, too.
Hold on, we have a caller. Hold on. It's all right.
That's perfect.
Yeah, right. We just came out the phone. Hold on. Caller, you on the line with GST Radio.
Hello. Hello.
What's going on, bro?
I'm calling from long distance.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm calling from long distance. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I call. Yeah, I'm calling for. Oh, first of all, Ramadan Mubarak. Okay.
Oh my God.
Come on, man.
Nah, I'm fucking around with y'all. Yeah, what's the topic though? Okay, I'm fucking with y'all. I'm a funny guy, man. What's the topic? What we talking about? I apologize.
We talk about if when you raising spoiled kids, do it affect them in adult relationships? Basically,
if we're raising,
so like, for instance, are we handicapping our kids when we spoil them as children, or setting a bar for them that's too unrealistic for a mate? Like, for instance, what I was saying earlier is, I don't think, reason why I was saying I don't want my daughter to look at me as far as what she judged by what she want in a man is because I want my relationship with my daughter to be separate. If y'all understand what I'm saying, that's daddy's daughter.
I understand.
So when she's looking for her man or her relationship, it has to be what she wants.
Yeah.
It has to be what makes her happy.
But also, it's also got to do with the values of the parent. You get what I'm saying? Because
exactly. That's my point. That's my point.
I
because,
definitely understand.
I don't. My daughter. When you grow up, I want my daughter to be an independent thinker of me, because that's how basically I was raised. I don't think like my mom. I don't think like my dad. You feel me? So I don't want necessarily my daughter to think like me. I want her to do what makes her happy, as long as it's not hurting her or hurting anybody else. So I want her to be in control of her happiness. You feel? I don't want to tell her this the type of man you should be looking for. This the type, like Willie said earlier, we want to guide them away from, certain type of characters. We want them to be street smart. You feel me? The people, he just trying to get some, or he think he can just buy me this, that, and the third. Of course, I'm going to teach her that. But as far as
that goes,
go ahead, bro.
Yeah. That goes far as like, basically the whole basis of that whole upbringing of a child with parents. It doesn't matter if it's a single parent home or both parent home. The whole basis of that is the free will of the child learning from experience and making choices for themselves. What's already instilled in them. You know what I'm
saying? Exactly. That's what I was kind of going with, guys.
You're still in them. Yeah, you still in them. You put in them values, morals, and principles, and then there they can make their choices on the path that they want to go in. But if they were never thought or exposed or thought of what they're in the world, you know what I'm saying? Then as a parent, we all gonna feel as though like, I should have done more. But if you know you've done everything possible, then their choices and their and what they want to do in life is always ultimately going to be up on them. You know what I mean? But it's always the relationship that you have with your kids, knowing that you trust them to make the right decisions, and whatever decisions that they make, you support them no matter what, and not deter them to make them choose what you want them to do, or how you feel like they should supposed to pick a mate, or schools that they're supposed to go to, or jobs they're supposed to get, because you're still gonna be. Are you gonna let them go eventually, or are you gonna still be like you're gonna have them on a short leash? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so right. So that's the thing is that what we're trying to get at now is like, okay, are parents keeping the leash too short, or are they doing too our relationship where the child can't figure out what decision to make on their own versus what they're being influenced to do by the parent. Kids these days are spoiled. Let's say you said that you tell them every day, I love, huh?
I said kids these days are spoiled.
Yeah, so like every day you're telling them, look, you go. I love Michigan State University, right? This is the school I love, right? So I'm constantly saying Michigan State University is the best school. Michigan State University is the best school. So my kid says, well, you know what? I'm gonna go to Michigan State University. And it's like, okay, great. Yeah, you definitely should go. And it's like, but I never mention, well, there is this other school, this blue and gold school down the street that you got an option of. There's another school down in Ohio. You got. If I never tell them that, I can still be unduly influencing them. As much as it sounds great that they are saying it themselves, they may be saying it because they've heard me say it so much. You know what I'm saying? And that leash that I'm putting on them now is virtual, because it's like, yeah, I didn't say, oh, you can't go, or I didn't say you have to go. I just, put my opinion out there, and they happen to roll with it, right? So it's like, you have to recognize that as a parent that, sometimes you may be unduly influencing your child and not giving them the other options that they have out there, and because that could end up, deterring them from something or keeping them away from something that they can experience on their own, like you said.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the thing. And it's funny because the other brother brought up a good point. He brought up how we kind of we got to get them to think for themselves and not go off what we think. And like I said, you got to have like almost a hands-off approach. We can give you advice, but you have to come to your own decision. I don't want you to decide because of what I said. Or don't, whether or not you like a person, whether or not you want to date this person and stuff like that. Like you said, you got so many parents that are involved in their kids' relationship that they don't allow their kids to be in a relationship without their input on everything. Like you can say, oh, well, this person, I don't know if I like them as much because of X, Y, Z, but that you shouldn't tell somebody, oh, I don't want you dating this person. I don't want you dating that person. And it comes to another question I have. It's kind of on topic but a little bit off. I was watching the Today Show today, and they were saying about how important it is, like, or is it important now in this day and age for the guy to ask the family for their daughter's hand in marriage? And if they do ask the family and the family says no, what should the daughter do if she finds out that he couldn't marry her because her parents said no for whatever reason? Like,
but parents know best.
Involved in that relationship, or is it?
Yeah, parents know best. Maybe they say no because they.
But
well, I understand, but we as parents are supposed to be, the first defense, and harm's coming towards our children. That's first thing, right? We should know best, right? But we all, I believe, like all of us are the same thing.
But then sometimes you get the parents that are bitter, that their relationship didn't work out, so they don't I get what you're saying, but for some parents, not all, they don't have their kids' best interests at heart. They're either so you got some moms that are jealous because they never been married, nobody asked to marry them, blah blah blah, stuff like that. And you got some bitter parents that don't have their life together, so they don't want to see their kids happy. Not all parents are like that, but you do have some like that. So I think it depends on the situation.
No, all parents live vicariously through their children.
True.
We all live vicariously through our children because it's like.
What did you say,
Go ahead, bro.
I feel as though it's circumstantial. I feel like it's circumstantial. Like y'all both just said, you can have some bitter parents, and then you have parents that do try to live vicariously through their children. And so if what their children's decision isn't up to par to what they think it should be, you feel me? Then they might will deter the daughter from marrying. They might be like, nah, you can't marry my daughter because you don't live up to my expectations. And that's kind of like what that ain't really off topic. That's perfectly on topic, if you ask me. You know what I mean?
I tried to see it this morning. I thought about it as far as what we were talking about.
And then, in some cases, like he's right. We probably do. Like I said, that's why I said it's circumstantial.
Yeah, that's why I think so.
Because Willie, if somebody come to Willie's daughter, you feel me? A certain type of, like as men, we could pick up a vibe. You feel me? 'Cause we've been there. You know what I mean? We all been there. We've been at that stage. So we could pick up a certain vibe from this guy, but my daughter can't see it. You feel me? For whatever reason, because she's blinded by love, whatever. She's blinded, or she got, she's just not trying to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, as a parent, then it is our job to step in.
Yeah. That's why it's a case-by-case situation, I will assume, because like I said, you as a child, your parents as well as they know you. You knew what you grew up in. You know what type of person they are. It's like we had the last show where we had about getting advice from our single friends and friends. You know who you're talking to. You know what type of person you're talking to. So you have to kind of figure out, is it beneficial to you to listen to them and get their advice, or if it's not beneficial to you to get their advice on certain things. I think, like I said, you do have, and I know a few bitter parents. They're just bitter. Their life ain't never been right, ain't nothing going on for them, and they want their kids to be just as miserable and in the same breath there. But you do have parents that actually look for the best interest of their child. So those parents, I would say, you do want to ask them, you do want to get their opinion, you do want to talk to them about it, and if they do say no, you might want to say, well, Mom, or Mom, Dad, why did you say no? Explain to me, so I can understand. But it's a basically, for me, it'll be like a case-by-case situation. Like, I think my daughter would ask me something like that because I'm more of a, in the future for her, I'm not as, hard or anything like that, but I do have a standard of what type of person I think she should be with in the long haul. But I'm not going to be, if she asks me, I'll tell her. If he asks me, can he marry her in some future time or whatever, and we had that discussion, and I feel like he's not together, I'm going to tell him that you got to get your shit together. You're not going to marry my daughter half-assed and come half-assed. I need you to come correct. And if you really love her, you'll do it.
But what age, when we're saying, okay, we're going to give our kids away, all right, what age, I'm talking about in this country, because other countries got different, standards and stuff like that, right? Other countries got different standards.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about. when we talking about this country,
I mean, even here in this country, it's going to be subjective.
I understand.
Yeah, even
I understand.
Even
I'm just saying. I know. But when we say, all right, no, we're gonna find, she's gonna be, ready to make her own decision when she's ready. But all right, there's some there's some people here that 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 have multiple siblings, and the siblings went on with their life and they're happy and great, but they're still hesitant because they haven't still found the right one, because it's not due to the parent, it's because it's due to the lack of their decisions, because some people have decision makings, you know what I'm saying? So the parent can guide them all the way up to the point where they're into the adulthood and say, listen, you got 7 degrees, you got a Fortune 500 company, but you're still single. Oprah's still single. What's her problem?
She got 7
due to her
now,
parents? Man, that's the ultimate sign of it.
She got. Well, they ain't got to get married.
I think that's due to her success. I think that's due to her success. She's cautious. She's super cautious because of her own success and her own career. So she had a plan for herself. But when it comes to the decision making and all that stuff, I think it's all subjective, because there's certain. I mean, even in the same group of same kids in a family, you could be looking at different ages. Like my oldest daughter, it was like she made some decisions that we didn't agree with all the way up until she was 17, 18, 19 years old. Whereas my second oldest daughter, I felt like at 17, I felt like she could make her own decisions. I felt like she had the maturity level and the acumen, and she was going in the right direction to be able to do that. When I was 16, my parents was like, go do you. So everybody's different, right? My sister stayed around until she was 22. So exactly. So it's always subjective and always.
It depends on the maturity of your child. Like your child ain't got their life right. They making crappy decisions about little stuff. You know that they can't really make big decisions on themselves. So not that you have to take over and interject and make them do what you want them to do, but you can. I would suggest the opposite of talking to them and explaining to them. Listen, I think you need to think about your decisions you make, because you're not right now. You're not making that many great decisions and blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, at certain age, you know how we were. We were kids. Your mom told you shit. You either listen or you didn't want to listen. You had to find out the hard way. Sometimes people got to find out the hard way. Some people have to learn by a screw up, or some people learn by example, or some people learn by their own walking into a wall and hitting their head a couple of times and realizing that shit really hurt. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Sometimes it takes that. It depends on the person. Like I said, your child. So if your child is not equipped with making real decisions, you have to take initiative to help them make better decisions, but that's all attested to your parenting skills. You can't just.
But at what age do we? But at what age do we do that? But at what age do we say that they're okay? They can handle themselves right now. Okay, because we're talking about right now. We're talking about preteens, adolescents. You know what I'm saying? And mid-20s. Okay, but after that, you should be able to understand what's right for you and what's wrong for you, because as a parent, we always going to be there for you, got your back to make sure you're not in harm's way, right? But if we see that harm is coming towards you, we're going to shield our body. Yeah, we're going to shield our body, but as far as mind, body, and soul, it's their decision. Mind, body, and soul.
My mom sat me down. Yeah, but like I said, I know I made a poor decision when I was 18 and I got pregnant. And my mom sat me down and we had a conversation. She said, you kind of really messed up. I thought you were, you had a good head surgery. You were going to be going with you. Because by then I was in college. I graduated a year early. I was in college. I was doing what I was supposed to do. Met a boy, he was a New York boy. He had the little flag. Got me all caught up. He was older than me and got pregnant. Shit happens. My mom talked to me and she said, listen, you got to. She said, I know you have your shit together to a certain extent, but this part you kind of slashed off. Now you have to understand that you're bringing a child into the world. You gotta step up. Like, and then you could be that parent too. Like, your kids are going to make. You can't protect your kids from not making every mistake. You can't protect your kids from not messing up. It's unrealistic. You have to kind of. One thing.
Raising a daughter as a man is harder. this is my opinion. This is my opinion. I don't want this is just me talking. This is my opinion. Raising a daughter, if you're a man raising a daughter is a lot harder if you're a single parent than if you're raising a daughter.
Mom, even as a mom raising a
daughter. Yeah, even as a mom, being a single parent period is hard.
You got the kids. Yeah, because you're missing that other parent that's supposed to balance it out, whether or not it's a father figure for the daughter. The daughter's supposed to learn what a man is from her father. If she doesn't have a father there, she has to either depend on the person that her mom has in her area, whether it's her godfather, her uncles, or the man that her mom is dating. Like you have to set examples for your kid. You can't go dating some old raggedy ass dude and bring around your kids and thinking that and she don't think that's the type of dude she needs because that's who you're dating. You're showing her that raggedy ass dudes are okay. You have to show them a guy that got substance, especially when their father is an absentee father. You have to show them this person you have to bring people around that give a fuck about not only you as the person that they're dating, but your kids. You can't just bring anybody around, especially when they're missing that key parent. They need somebody, a role model to look at after. Like that's how you get you have some stepdads that are better dads than the actual real dad. So you have to, I said, when you're missing the other parent or a stepmom, you have to, when you bring people around your kids, you got to bring positive people around your kids so they can see a positive role model. If their dad's not there for a reason, if you're dating as a female, you got to bring somebody around your kids that you want to say, this is the type of man you should be dating. This person that got a job, they doing something because they're not out here on the street corners busting a trap every 5 minutes. They're not in and out of jail. They got their shit together. They're doing something productive. It's not all about being in jail and being outside selling drugs. It's about so much more. So you got to kind of you have to, as a parent, show your kids by example.
Check this out.
That's like if you're a parent dating somebody that's abusive and your kids see that, they think that it's okay.
Yeah, I just now, after 35 years, having my first child in 19, 20, whatever. Now having my second child, I just now realized it doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter what people want you to do or live your life a certain way. When you find somebody that you want to be with, although that there's objectives and naysayers and whatever, this is in life. There's no 3 chances. I believe so. Is my opinion, right? So when you find that person, people are going to either be in your life or people are going to step away from you because of the decisions you make. Then that's how you separate who is supportive, who's really love you, or who just wants to see you miserable because misery loves company.
Exactly.
Facts.
And you get nothing. You get parents that are like that. You get parents that are miserable and want their kids to be miserable. And it's sucks, but that's the reality. And you see that.
Exactly.
You see that.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but you do see that.
Yeah, I mean it happens. It happens. But one thing I wanted to get back to, one thing I wanted to get back to was on the question of influence. And I think this is more prevalent when you see that mother-son relationship. I know we've been kind of cracking on the daughters here lately. Everybody's got daughters. But when it comes down to that mother-son relationship and the mama's boys, I think the influence is where you see that happening more often than not in terms of, it's almost a materialistic thing, an expectation thing when it comes to the girls and their fathers. But when it comes to mothers and sons, the sons, they'll run to mom for advice. They'll run to mom for help with things. They got mom doing stuff for them. And I think, yeah, exactly. And I think that a lot of times, that'll cause issues in relationships because, the woman knows that she's got another woman in their relationship undermining her, for one, and then two, the influence that a mother will have on her son is almost unspoken. Like I was talking about that whole thing with, you say, I'm going to a certain school because you've been hearing mom saying she went to that school, she loved that school the bomb, and you don't realize why you want to go to that school all of a sudden. And I know even with my mama, she's always had her, ear to the ground. So anytime something come up, she got some advice she wants to put on me, you know, that kind of thing. I mean, a lot of times she always right, but you know, the biggest thing though is that a lot of mothers will be very influential when it comes to their sons because they want, like you said, they want to definitely be protective of them. They want to be, you know, nurturing of them, you know, no matter what age they are, you know, and that was the one thing, you know, talking about this whole being spoiled thing is that a lot of mothers, and I think Clint even brought this up when he brought this topic up last week, it was like, you know, a lot of mothers are almost smothering of their sons and how they, you know, hold on to them. And, you know, you got to find that timing or that limit to what you're going to do, because other than that, you'll be hindering that man because he's going to be unable to, you know, make his own decisions about women, make his own decisions about the relationships. If he has issues in the relationships, you know, he don't know how to talk to his woman. He's gonna be back talking to mama and trying to get mama's advice on what to do in the relationship. And and his woman ain't gonna want that. You know, that's definitely not, you know, a good way to have a relationship. You know, with your mama involved, right? But it's definitely, I think that's a big problem. Mhm.
You remember that movie? How to Think Like a
We find it easier to be generous and to be giving to our women, and no matter how spoiled she was as a kid, you know, if she has an expectation, we try to meet it, right? You know, because that's just what we're taught as men. But when it comes to women dealing with mama's boys, you know, and ain't no woman want another woman in her relationship.
I think it comes down to standards. Or like we all hinder a mother raising a son and over nurturing him, over smothering him and being mom.
I think somebody's got the thing playing in the background.
Daughter is harder. That's all I'm saying.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
You was sounding a little muffled, Jabril.
Oh no, I was just talking to Poe.
Oh yeah.
Okay, he
got
in the back.
No. I know he got 5 boys. Anybody have? He got 5 boys, 1 daughter, and 1 daughter on the way. So he definitely
the
man on the
call
subject.
in.
Yeah, he got a 5 of the possible.
Yeah. So
tell him to call in. Be a part of the show.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it all comes down to standards. You feel me? I believe, you know, with everything being said, I believe as parents, we give them a standard. You know, we raising them at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So obviously we're giving them a standard.
Yeah.
I don't want my daughter to go. I don't want my daughter to go below that standard. So as a parent, you know, I'm gonna do my job as a parent. You know, as a man. So she sees that. But I don't want her. So when she chooses a man, I don't want her to go below that standard. But at the same time, I don't want to influence her to the point to where, you feel me, she comparing every man to me. You feel me? Because I feel that hurts her. You know, don't compare them to me, because you know that's an unfair comparison. That's unfair to them at the end of the day. But
she should hold her father's values.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like she showed my standards. So, but don't compare him to me. You know, and I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going, you know what I mean, look at him and start comparing him to me. You feel me? I'm not going to do that. Yeah. You feel me? But I don't want her to do that either. Of course, if I see him some shady ways, I'm gonna say something to him and to her, of course. But you know, at the same time, it's like it's none of my business who she chooses.
Right. Right.
Just
That's
know,
the whole point.
Yeah, just know, you know, don't compare him. Don't try to hold him towards me, because Daddy is different. You feel me? Daddy completely different. You feel me? This love is unconditional. You are me. You my seed. I plan
Daddy gonna be always there.
You feel me? Yeah, but and Daddy will go above and beyond with no mercy, no remorse. So it's like, you feel me? Don't expect that. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't expect that from somebody else, because that's different. You know, that's different. All of it is different.
And that's fair. And that's a fair. You giving them a fair chance. You giving them a fair chance. That at the end of the day, you know, even if I'm gone or I'm still here, that my values that I instilled in you is what you're supposed to evaluate the next man with, not because of my preference or of how I want to see you, you know, evaluate the next man, but, you know, hardworking, you know what I'm saying, you know, dedicated, loyal, you know what I'm saying, everything that's values, that's morals that I have, you know, if he has even half of that, maybe you can steal the other half that what I taught you in him to make him a better man.
Yeah, that's the flip side of it.
Yeah.
She better, because we always talking about what we want, the type we want our kids to be with. Like, our kids got to be, you know what I mean, on point too. You feel me?
Right,
like, I don't,
that's true.
Exactly.
You feel me?
Exactly.
Like I don't want you to be non-functional. You feel me? I don't want you to be the user in a relationship. I want you to be able to carry your own weight. You know what I mean? If I feel as though you can't carry your own weight by yourself, you know what I mean, I'm going to say something. Like, why the hell are you getting in a relationship?
Exactly.
You can't even take care of yourself.
Don't put that burden on them. Yeah, don't put the burden on somebody else.
Yeah, don't put that burden. Yeah, don't try to. No, I mean, don't be a user now. You feel
I
me?
mean, the other thing too. The other thing too is that as kids going into adulthood, they also have to realize what the difference is too on their own as well. You know, that they can't rely on other people to be just like mama and daddy to a point, and they also can't rely on mama and daddy to take care of them forever. You know, there's expectations, and then there's being ridiculous about it, right? You know, I know when I was young, my parents did do a lot for me, but I also had expectations of myself as a person who needed to take care of themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I expected my school career to go a certain way. I expected to get into a job that could pay bills, and I expected to have my own place, that kind of thing. So I had expectations of myself that didn't include mama and daddy. You know, I believe me, I had a certain level of expectation from them up to a certain age where I was like, hey, you know, if you know, I need some food or I need, you know, that kind of thing, I knew I should be able to go home and get fed. But when it came to, you know, I had to get a job, or I had to get a new apartment, I wasn't about to call my mama and say, you know, Ma, can you get me into another apartment, or, you know, can you get me a down payment for my next car, you know, that kind of thing. You know, I knew I had to do that on my own. Now, she offered, you know, that's different, but, you know, it's not something that I was about to, you know, be expecting from her or asking her to do, you know, and I think that's the thing, is that people also, or our children also have to realize that there is a limit. They have to see the limit, you know what I mean, to a point, because
but different generations are different. You know, different generations are different.
True. I mean, you know, we do have a very entitled level of kids these days.
And we had that
where
discussion.
a lot of these kids, they feel entitled to way more than we ever did, you know, and definitely way more than our parents did. You know, our parents, I mean, at least I know my parents and most of the people that I know from their generation, I mean, they didn't expect anything from their parents. You know, they went out and they worked for everything. You know, when they came to us, me and my sister, my generation, it was like, you know, I expected my parents to probably, you know, maybe help me with my first, you know, whatever, you know, maybe my dad helped me get my first job, you know, helped me, you know, fill out applications. He helped me do scholarship letters and stuff like that. So that's the kind of expectations I had, where my kids, they expect me to go buy them a car. You know, they expect me to like my son to this day still think I'm about to get him a job. And I'm like, boy, you need to go out and get your own job, you know. You're old enough, you can figure this out on your own. So, you know,
ultimately, like at the end of the day, what's the most important thing that us parents with kids, we have to instill in them to see the person for not who they are, but for their ulterior motives. You know what I'm saying? The ulterior motives, because people will go into relationships for ulterior motives, not because they want the person, or it could be sometimes it could be the other way. It could be because they want the person and they really love the person. But ultimately, people nowadays have ulterior motives. You know what I'm saying? Is to get by any means necessary. So we have to also remind our kids, you know what I'm saying, that what's that saying? Throw something as far as you can trust it.
Oh, right. You can only trust somebody as far as you can throw them. You can only trust somebody as far as you can throw them.
Exactly. So don't bring nobody close to you that you feel as though that, like, you know, that is going to benefit off of you and is not going to take you to the next level. You know, that goes in all aspects of life, not only in relationships, not only as a father and daughter, not only a mother and son, but it goes as, you know, in all aspects of life, because they're just going to, you know, they're just going to use you as a ladder or stepping stool, you know what I'm saying? Because then later you're going to say, you know, you're going to be hurt. You're going to be looking at the person like, I did this for you, and he's going, I did this, whatever. And then they're going to be like, well, I'm on to the next. You know what I mean? On to the next, on to the next, on to the next. And that person in life is not going to gain nothing, but the person that ultimately felt that is going to learn a lesson that the next person is not going to be, I'm not going to be that forgiving.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let me make a quick announcement. We're in the after show. Please, folks, give us a call if you want to chime in, 657-383-1155. We're also live tweeting at GFT_radio.
Yeah. Basically all that is like, don't be looking for users. I mean, be aware of users and don't be a user. You know what I mean? Be self-sufficient.
Exactly.
Be self-sufficient. And that goes, like you said, with anything, not just with money, you know what I mean, with your happiness as well. You feel me? I don't want my daughter to rely on nobody else to be happy but herself.
Exactly. And that's just one thing. A lot of people aren't happy with themselves in relationships, trying to find that happiness, and they're miserable. And it's like, and that's what we said this on the past show, that you, and I stress this to my friends, if you're not happy with being by yourself, you can't be with anybody until you're happy with being with yourself and loving yourself.
Love yourself first.
No one can't love you until you start to love yourself, other than parents and stuff like that. But like relationship-wise, no one's going to love you until you love yourself, because if you don't love yourself and you find a relationship, you're going to find people that are not good for you. If you have confidence and you love yourself, you're going to find, hopefully, you're going to find the right people for you. But if you're like not happy with yourself, whoever you're gonna find is gonna know that you're insecure. Know that you don't love yourself, so they can take advantage of you and just have you in this rut that you're gonna feel like you're sucked into, and it's not good. So you have to love yourself. You have to be okay with being by yourself. And once you do those two things, you can find happiness. And a lot of people aren't happy. A lot of people are settling. That's why people aren't happy. This is why you have people that are miserable in relationships.
How many people ever said to themselves? I don't know. I'm not Dr. Phil. How many people ever said to themselves? How many people ever said to themselves, "Damn, if I knew what I know now back then, I would do a lot of things different." We always say that. We always say that to ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is where we get the second chance, where our kids, you know what I'm saying, not to make them, you know what I'm saying, do what we want or what we couldn't do, but the lessons in life that they don't have to do we did. That's all that is.
Yeah, I think Clint said something a while back about, like, the scariest image or something like that is when you look in the mirror yourself or something like that. What was it, Clint?
Yeah, that's the scariest place. That's the scariest place. It's the mirror. You feel me? That's the scariest place ever. Is the mirror, because you can't hide from yourself. You feel me? You gotta really look at yourself. When you really, you know what I mean, be honest with yourself. That's a scary place. You feel me? That's a scary place. There's a lot of people aren't honest with themselves. You feel me? If you can't be honest with yourself, you know what I mean, you can't be honest with nobody else. You know, that's true. And if one thing my daughter ever get from me is, you know what I mean, like, just be honest with yourself. Be, you know what I mean, know yourself. You feel me? Know yourself. When you fall in love with you can't You know what I mean? You can't fake love yourself. That's what a lot of people be doing too. You feel me? They you know.
Exactly.
They tell themselves, they try to convince themselves, so to speak, instead of truly loving themselves, because they don't want to accept certain things about themselves. They don't want to accept. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to accept it. You got to take responsibility for things. You know, and once you're able to do that, then you're able to grow. You feel me? And then, I mean, like, how can you know what you want if you don't know if you don't know who you are?
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know what I mean?
Wow,
so,
that's
like,
deep, yo. That's deep.
So, if, you know what I mean? That's one thing I want, if anything. So, if her growing up to meet somebody, like, before she meet that and commit to, you know what I mean, that person for life, like, make sure you know yourself first. You feel me? Make sure you know yourself first. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I just had that conversation with my daughter, and well, two of my daughters just had that conversation with them, you know, about being in relationships and everything, because that's definitely essential. You know, don't be in a relationship for the fact of being in a relationship. Be in something that's beneficial and that makes you happy, and know why you're happy. You know what makes you happy. Because a lot of people don't even realize what makes them happy. Even myself. I mean, I was 38 years old before I realized what made me happy, and I had to sit down and kind of figure out, you know, the things that I thought made me happy. Turned out I was just doing those. I was doing those things because it made other people happy with me. You know, so I had to find out what was actually going to make me feel satisfied with myself. So it's something that you definitely got to look. You got to totally turn around and look at yourself and figure that out. Or like you said, look in that mirror.
Yeah,
that's great, yo. Because at the end of the day, if you can say honestly, like, you know, that at the end of the day, like what Clint said, look at yourself in the mirror and accepting your faults, accepting who you are, and nobody can make you somebody that you're not. Then you don't have to go around and you don't have to go around and spreading, I'm not spreading, but, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, accepting people for who they are if they don't accept themselves for who they are. Because then there's two people in the boat that when it's sinking, who's going to save who?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And I think this goes with choosing friends as well. I think all that coincides, you know what I mean? Because, like, you know, the wrong friend or the right friend could be the difference in, you know, whether you live or die sometimes, literally. You feel me? And not, you know, accepting anybody into your circle isn't wise, first of all. You know what I mean? Just accepting anybody into your circle.
Everybody's not for you.
Everybody's not for you. You know, and everything is not for you. You feel me? So you shouldn't be
exactly.
So certain things you shouldn't even be going to seek. You know what I mean? Because you might get what you asked for, get it because you asked for it. You know, and it'd be a whole different experience. You know what I mean? It'd be a whole different experience than what you expected it to be. But, you know, even with all that being said, like, there's always that one caveat. You know, life is real. Life is unexpected. You know, nobody knows what will befall us tomorrow. So you
life
can
is
do
reality.
everything right. Yeah, like you can do everything right. You feel me? Your child could be raised proper. They could take on all your values. They could do everything right. You feel me? And sometimes certain things would just go wrong. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And you gotta accept that. Like, sometimes it's just things are out of your control and it'll go wrong. But if you secure within yourself, you know what I mean? Like, at some point you can get out of that. At some point you can get out of that.
Yeah.
But you gotta be secure within yourself. You know what I mean?
Learning from life's mistakes. Learning from life.
Yeah, you can't be dependent on nobody else.
Yeah, learning from life's mistakes has made some of the great iconic people in our generation because they learn from their mistakes. You feel me?
True.
So, if you don't learn from your mistakes and you keep repeatedly doing the same mistakes, then obviously there's something that you don't see or something you're not taking heed to. You know what I mean? Some of the greatest greatest people in history have learned from their mistakes, or even not even their mistakes, even from their upbringing. You know what I mean? Even from their upbringing. You know, like Ray Charles. You know what I'm saying? Circumstances made circumstances made him who he was. Martin Luther King. Circumstances made him who he was. They had a perfect life all throughout their life. Then something tragic happened. You know what I'm saying? They knew that from that tragic incident that it shaped them to form a thicker skin, that nothing should ever bother them no more, and nothing's going to deter them to go further than what they already have been, where they at. You know what I mean? That's all life is about: learning from your mistakes and living with no regrets. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, definitely learning from your mistakes is the biggest thing. You know, that is how your attitude gets shaped, how your outlook on life gets shaped. Because you know, depending on how you react to that negative or that you know adversity that you have to stand against, depending on how you react to that, it's how you're going to proceed in life. You know, because if you let one thing turn you around or deter you, then you're going to let everything deter you, versus if you're going to look at it and say, hey, you know what, that's a stepping stone, and you keep moving above that, or you learn from that situation, and, you know, then people can see that you're going to continue to make strides and to keep moving forward no matter how many times you get turned back. Yeah.
When you see the fork at the end of the road, when you see the fork at the end of the road, I'm going to tell my son, go straight. Go straight. They figure it out from there. Because if you figure it out from there, when you go straight, you're never going to let nobody deter you to your right, to your left. Because you know why? Because you made that decision. You went straight. And whatever's coming at you, you're going to figure out, you're going to deal with it, and you're going to make the best out of it. That's life.
Yeah, definitely. But it's been a great
all right, I guess we're going to have to wrap it up. It's already getting.
Yeah, this was a really good discussion though. And I think it was needed. It opened our eyes on different sides of it. Thank you to the other Jabril for joining us. We always appreciate.
We should have a part 2 of this discussion. Part 2.
Yeah, we got to do a part 2.
Oh, for sure.
But it was a great discussion.
Peace.
You guys want to give out your info?
All right, bro.
Hit me up later, yo.
All
right, bye.
Y'all know y'all can hit me at a TeamsTruth.com.
Y'all can get your information?
Yeah, y'all can hit me up on the TeamsTruth.com. Snapchat, same thing, TeamsTruth. Instagram, ClintBack, BLAQ. I'm everywhere.
Oh, yeah, this is Willie Styles.
Willie?
Y'all know where to find me, williestyles.info. I'm everywhere. At Willie Styles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus. I'm YouTube, Willie Styles on everything except for Snapchat. I'm Willie.Styles on Snapchat. Forget that other Willie Styles. He's a faker. And then williestyles.info is where you can find
out a whole resume. And y'all know y'all can reach me. Y'all can reach me at IamSunny_D on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. You can follow me on I have a Tumblr. You can find me there. You can find me on just everywhere. Just Google me and find me. But definitely follow the show. GFTRadioshow.com is our website. Google GFT Radio. You'll find us everywhere. We're on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube. We got a Tumblr account. We have our website, Facebook page, all that. Definitely check us out on Instagram and Twitter at GFT_radio. Thank you guys for listening to tonight's show. Tune in next week. It's going to be a great topic with the guys, not me. Bye. Clint?
Catch us in 7 days.
Holla.
Bye, guys.
Once upon a time, there was a new crossover that refused to play by the rules. It flipped the script and made all the others look like fools. Featuring styling that's sexier by far and handles like a rock star. Introducing the first ever Toyota CHR.
Enjoy agile handling in the body of a seductive crossover that comes with standard 18-inch alloy wheels. The first ever Toyota CHR. The perfect ride to spin your own tail. Toyota. Let's go places.
Progressive presents Mindfulness with Flow.
You are a mighty fortress of supreme knowledge. Progressive Direct has not only revealed their rates, but those of their competitors. If you were any more in the know, you would be drowning in, the know.
Compare Progressive Direct rates with competitors' rates, because knowledge is power. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.